Hi, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you are doing well, and if you're not, I hope that you find time to take care of yourself because you are important. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I mostly talk about art-related stuff on my channel with a time lapse of me drawing something in the background. Join me as you work, draw, paint, clean, cook, or commute, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a course on Coloso I am currently taking. Know that this video is not sponsored at all, and I am just giving my thoughts and opinions on my experience with a class. So let's get into it. So as many of you know, I started off this channel at some point wanting to make comics. And I did very much dive into creating a webcomic that had a very short run and a very short lifespan before it went on hiatus because of many things, of many reasons that I have beat that dead horse over and over again, and nobody wants to hear me complain about it anymore. Neither do I, because I'm honestly tired of it. But one of the reasons why I felt very overwhelmed when creating my comic was because I felt lost a lot of the times, and I felt that I had no structure. One of my many downfalls, and I seem to self-sabotage myself a lot in this, which I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, is that I tend to overwhelm myself. I tend to overwhelm very easily, but I think the reason is because I pull from a lot of different things, and then I slowly just, I don't want to say burn out, but I mean, yeah, essentially I burn out, and it leads me to not having good structure. And so that overwhelmness just, it's very daunting to me, and it becomes very tiring that at the end of the day, I end up doing nothing. So I told myself that I wanted to drop my comic and I wanted to learn how to make manga. Well, time passed and I didn't really get anywhere. And here we are like 4 years later. And I realized that in order for me to learn something, I just need to have something to focus on. And structure for me is a very big part of learning. Now, everybody's learning journeys look different and everybody is a different kind of learner. But for me, structure is it. I need it. And so I started to get on the internet and buy a lot of different online courses to teach myself how to draw and do this and that. And they were all good. And I've had a lot of good experiences with a lot of the online classes that I've bought. Okay, so one of them I bought was Ethan Becker's animation course. I've bought some of Proko's courses on learning how to draw. I have bought some courses on Domestika, which have been amazing, which were more comic and manga leaning. Again, amazing. However, I never really took any courses to help me make what I wanted to make. Manga. Specifically, manga. And yes, I did take a manga course on Domestika, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. It wasn't all encompassing. I think it was mostly just on storytelling, but I was really looking for something that was going to all encompass every part of manga making. And here I get into Coloso. So Coloso was, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's pronounced Coloso, was actually recommended to me by one of my friends that I met in Artist Alley. Funny enough, you never know what kind of friends you're going to meet in Artist Alley. And I've made a lot of good friends that I love dearly and have been little lights in my life that I really needed. And so this friend recommended Coloso. And so I went on there, because she's a phenomenal artist, and she takes a lot of different courses. She said, Strawberry. She doesn't really call me Strawberry. She calls me by my name, but I accidentally said my name on here and I'm like, no, everyone knows me by 𝒍𝒍��𝒘. That's how it's going to stay. But she was like, 𝒍𝒍��𝒘, I really think you should take some classes like on this website. It's really good. Check them out. They have some free stuff. And I was like, okay. So I go on Coloso and sure enough, I make an account. I do the whole thing. And yeah, they have some free courses. So I wouldn't say free courses. I would say like digestible lessons, right? So I do those first and I love them. I'm like, okay. Well, I come to find out that there is a new manga class that's going to be coming out here soon. Actually, it aired or it dropped August 5th of this year. And it's by a manga artist, or I should say mangaka artist, by the name of Dee Juusan. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not pronouncing that right, I am so sorry. But goes by the name of Dee Juusan and has been published. So I'm like, oh, I'm so hyped for this course. I bought it back in July, paid for it, and I just waited. I could not wait to start this class come August 5th. So, you know, I think I bought it in June, actually. I think it was like June or July, something like that, like early July, late June, somewhere there. And sure enough, class drops on August 5th. I'm super stoked. I start taking this class and I'm like, okay, like I'm ready. I want to make manga, right? I want to learn. I need structure. I know that I need structure and I just need to learn, right? I need to sit down and take a class by somebody who's done it, somebody who's published, somebody who is experienced, and just dive in. And I don't know what to expect from this course. I've taken other manga courses. Like I said, I've taken a manga course on domestica, which I really loved. And it was great for learning, tips and tricks on like storytelling of manga, which is great. Again, I'm not dogging on that course. It was great. But I think I needed something different, something that was going to take me literally from A all the way to Z. I will say, I think I'm about 50% into this course, maybe a little bit more, maybe 52% into this course. And I have taken copious notes. And I will say that this class, y'all, like it's good. Sorry, excuse my language. I try not to curse on these things, but it is good. And I highly recommend it. It's not that expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but I mean, it's not gonna cost you an arm and a leg. And I will say that the instructor, Dee Juusan, super thorough, incredibly thorough, and offers a lot of downloadable content when you buy this course. Tons of downloadable content that digs so much deeper into the manga making process. A lot of these videos that you can download are really her just working on her stuff, and you get to be with her kind of in real time. I mean, it's not live, but obviously because it's pre-recorded, but you get to see a lot of, I mean, just so transparent in her process of working on manga. And I cannot tell you how much I have already learned from this course. She takes you from all the technical steps like comic, how to set up a comic for printing, how to set yourself up for success in case you ever want to print your manga. She teaches you Clip Studio Paint shortcuts and what she uses and how to set them up, how to set up your Clip Studio Paint workspace and again, set you up for success and how to navigate it a little bit. She doesn't go super deep into navigating the Clip Studio Paint because I think the understanding is when you take this class, you should have at least basic knowledge of Clip Studio Paint. So she doesn't dive deep into what every single tool does, but she does dive into the tools that she uses for manga. So that is super important. Again, the Clip Studio, you will have to have at least some kind of knowledge in Clip Studio Paint, but she does guide you through the process of how to set up your file, how to make it, all that stuff. She is so thorough. She doesn't talk super slow. I mean, you could always speed up the videos, but I think they're perfect. I think that, she's very good at getting to the point and speaking very well, and instructing very well on what she's doing and what you can do, and just so thorough. I would definitely say that this course is a bang for your buck, and it is totally worth the investment in my personal opinion. She also takes you through the storytelling methods, like how to use textures and screen tones, perspective, text, sound effects, which are all part of storytelling, and how you communicate emotions and feelings visually to your audience, which is so important. And I think that I haven't learned so much in a long time, and I haven't been so excited to learn something and be with an instructor that I feel really resonates with me. And, you could say, well, you're biased because, yes, she resonates with me. Yes, I love her teaching method. I love her style of teaching. I love what she is teaching. And so, of course, this makes it very easy for me to learn, right? She also teaches you how to improve your drawing skills, how to practice, I guess, like from reference and memory and all this stuff. Like she goes through it, y'all. Like she really does. Again, she's very thorough. And I can say, like, I think I started the course on the 6th. I can't remember. Let me go through my notes because I've taken copious notes on this. Okay, yes. So I started her class on August 7th. I had actually forgotten about the class, and then I had been waiting for so long, and I got so busy that August 7th, I was like, oh my God, my class. And I was like, I'm going to start it. And I think it was a Sunday. I don't even know what day August 7th was. Let me check. Oh no, it was a Thursday. Okay, yeah, that's right. It was a Thursday. I was so excited. That's right, because I started it the weekend before I went to the Texas Latino Comic Con. And yeah, I've taken so many notes. I super enjoy her teaching style. I highly recommend this course. Now, again, this video is not sponsored. I even sent her a message on Instagram telling her, like, thank you, like, for this course, like, you're amazing. And again, I get nothing out of this. Like, neither does she. Like, nobody's getting anything except me talking about her class and saying how much I love it and how much it's helped me, that I didn't want to gatekeep this. And honestly, I was going to wait until after I finished the class 100% finished it. But when I tell you guys that there's so much content in this class that it would probably take me a good couple of months to get through it all. If that, I think even more. I mean, I'm telling you, this class is rich. I think that it's a really good investment. And I really hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth, because I have loved it so much. I have learned so much. And because of this class, I connected with a writer, and I decided that I wanted to work with a writer so that I can illustrate something, so I can illustrate some comics. But more on that later. I can make a separate video about that. But at the end of the day, this is about her class and the manga course that I'm taking currently. And this class is helping me so much. So much. It has sparked that little joy of wanting to make manga again. I do think I'm a stronger artist now than I was 3 or 4 years ago when I started, or probably at this point 4 or 5 years ago almost, when I started my Magic-rai. I'm not going to dive into my own comic yet, but I want to just let you all know that this course, it's so thorough, and there's so much, and it takes you from the very beginning steps. And I'm still in the 50-something% of this course. So there's still so much more for me to get through. I'm just going to say that I'm using this course now to help me build my comic or my manga. I'm just going to say manga because that's kind of the style that I draw in. I mean, yes, I'm Western because I'm American, but I mean, it is what it is. I think that this course is amazing. I recommend it to anybody who wants to pursue manga. I think it's very good. I think it's a good starting point, regardless of your artistic abilities right now, whether you're an amateur like me who's just getting started, or, I mean, really, I do think it's good for people like me who are amateur, who are still newbies, at this, who've never really created manga before. I think this is the perfect class for us, for people who haven't really made comics, for people who haven't really made manga, who have maybe made a few and you're like, gosh, I really want to make it better, but I don't know how. For us, for people like me who are barely starting off, and you're like, well, I can kind of make it. I know Clip Studio Paint, but I don't really know how to make it better. This is literally the class for you. because that's something I have struggled with for a long time. And you never really recognize the mistakes until they're being pointed out. And I'm telling you, there will be a lot in this class that will be pointed out to you that you're like, oh, no wonder my stuff looked kind of like now that's how I can make it better. And those are the moments that it started clicking in my head as like she was going through talking about certain things, like how to like prep your page and things like that, like things that I never considered, that I'm like, oh, it's because comic and manga making is so different. Well, especially manga, like Western comics are one thing. So if Western comics is what you want to do, go find a class that is specific to Western comics, like DC and Marvel and Image and Dark Horse and all those. Go find a class specific to that. Manga, however, is it's still the same kind of, because it's still comics, but it's still a little different. And so for us manga enthusiasts, right, for us aspiring manga artists or mangakas, this is a good class for us. Like, I think that this is, oh my gosh, a gem. I need to talk about it. I didn't want to gatekeep it. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself because, like I said, I'm only like 50-something% done with the class. There's still so much more for me to learn. But so far, I'm hyped and I'm loving it. And I'm learning so much. And I'm putting everything that I've learned right now, I'm putting it into practice. And I'm going to continue. So I'll make a video about that on a later day. This is already a very long video. I try not to make videos that go past 20 minutes, but I just really wanted to talk about this class because it has resonated with me so much and it has really sparked that little joy of manga making again. And so I just wanted to come on here and give Miss Dee Juusan her credit, because her class has been everything for me these past couple of weeks. And I'm so excited to put everything that I have learned from her into practice. And I hope that maybe this was helpful to somebody. I don't know. I mean, I know I've been so bad about being on YouTube and I am so inconsistent on here. And I know that some of you are like, wow, she's still alive. Like, I know. And I know that a lot of you started following me because of webtoons, because of comics, because of manga, right? And so I know that a lot of you are aspiring, manga makers or comic makers. And I think that this is a really, really good video for us, because I feel like we're all in a space of learning and trying to be better. And a lot of us are amateur comic makers. Maybe some of you are already more seasoned than I am, and that's great. I am still very much an amateur. I've never made a manga. I've never made a comic. The one that I did make, it definitely has its struggles. I mean, yes, you could say, well, at least you started. And yes, that there is always that. Get started, right? Just start, even if it's bad. Like mine was really bad. Like, I made a lot of questionable decisions, but you know what? That's how we learn. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with having structure. I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a mentor, or in this case, taking a class to make you better in those areas where you know that something's wrong, but you can't quite pinpoint it. That's what these classes are for. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with being an amateur either. I'm not saying that you have to take this class. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying that it really does help. But I will leave it at that. I know that this video has already gone incredibly long, and I wanted to come in here and talk about the course. And I hope that you guys got something positive out of this. I hope that it wasn't, I didn't make it negative, but I hope that you got something out of it, that you learned something from here, and that maybe you'll consider taking her class. I'm not saying you have to. Again, I'm not sponsored. Nobody's getting anything out of this. I'm literally just speaking from my experience and really I love her course. And I'm sure that there's some pros and cons. I could list out all the pros and cons, but that's not what I wanted to get on here today for. I didn't want to list out a pros and cons list for her class. I wanted to come on here and just talk about the things that I've learned so far. Can things always be better? Absolutely. Is she going to be everybody's cup of tea? Probably not, but no teacher is. Sometimes some instructors really resonate with some folks and others don't, even though they have incredible work and they're published and like they're these amazing artists, but sometimes you just don't resonate with them, and that's okay. It doesn't make them bad instructors. It just means that it's just maybe their teaching style is not really for you. So I definitely encourage you to check out her YouTube channel. So you can kind of get an idea of like who she is and, you know, what she does, what she's worked on. I will link her video in the pinned comment down below, as well as in the description down below. Amazing person. I love her. I love her manga. I actually started reading her manga because I was like, oh, I learned about it. And I was like, what is this? And so I feel so connected to the characters now because I've heard her talk about, you know, her whole process and the characters and the story. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. So this is probably me just gushing over how much I love this manga artist, which I do. But anyways, so sorry again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that this is helpful. And I hope that you check out Coloso because it does have a lot of stuff on there and not just manga stuff. It's got all kinds of art stuff like 3D stuff. And yeah, check them out. You know, even if you don't buy anything, just check them out. Like it doesn't hurt to go and look and do your research. As far as like an investment, this is really the only investment I've made on the website. And I'm loving it. Like I have a really good experience with it. So that's all I have for today. Thank you again for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you all along for the ride with me. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you've taken a Coloso course or if you're taking this current class. Like maybe there's somebody out there who's taking her manga course right now and who's come onto this video and it's like, oh, I'm taking her class. And, you know, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know. The only thing I ask is that we always remain tactful because I want to keep our little community respectful and always a safe space for learners, right? And so that's all I ask. Well, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. If not, that's okay. My feelings will not be hurt. I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video.